Good morning. Welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 17th of May. It is Friday. We have a 13 game main slate on tap. I'm not sure what kind of weather we have going on. Our weather station hasn't been updated quite yet this morning, but let's just dig into the pitching. As always, this is a first look at the pitching options. I will try to go more in depth as the day goes on for our members over at DFS Army. I will be looking at DraftKings since that is where a majority of my action is. On FanDuel, I would use a much smaller pool, generally focusing on the top handful of names, uh, because it is easier to use them and stack the bats that we're looking for. But let's dig in right away. At the top, we get Freddie Peralta. Not really sure what I want to do with Peralta. K prop of 6.5. He hasn't been overly sharp in his last handful of starts, so I'm not really sure what to do. And he's obviously taking on Houston, a little more dangerous of an offense. I think we have to use Peralta, but I don't think we have to go too heavy on him to be much different than the field. K prop of 6.5 right now. Juice is on the under, but it's a decent K prop. Right now, the game is a pick 'em. Um, I honestly wouldn't be shocked if I end up with fading Peralta even. It really depends on what we find, as we work our way down. Uh, I'm just not a huge fan of taking pitching against Houston in Houston. Their offense hasn't been the problem for much of the year. It's really been their pitching that's caused Houston the problems. Trey Scoble, definitely somebody I'm very interested in. I know I'm a fan of Arizona's offense, but Scoble, I'm just a huge fan of Scoble. He's a minus 142 road favorite in this one. Game total of 7.5. K prop of 5.5. Juice strongly on the over. Definitely agree with the over on that. Um, Obviously, 19 strikeouts over his last two starts against difficult offenses in Houston and the Yankees. Definitely prefer him over Peralta. Um, It'd be interesting to see if he ends up one of the highest three owned or so. Because I think this guy, like Nestor Cortez, probably going to be up there in ownership. Don't necessarily love paying 9,400 for him, but he does get to face the White Sox. His K prop is 6.5, which seems extremely strong. Juice is very slightly on the over even. As a minus 270 home favorite. I think he's going to be fairly popular. His returns are all over the place, so he's not some lock button type player or pitcher on this slate. Cole Reagan's coming off of a ridiculously bad start against the Angels. Takes on an Oakland squad that hits home runs but strikes out a lot. And I think they've kind of cooled down a little bit um, overall, so I'm kind of interested here in Cole Reagan's. Trying to look for his K prop, but I'm not seeing it right now. Um, yeah, for some reason I'm not seeing anything for this game, but Cole Reagan certainly plenty of upside. I think he's probably going to end up being a better GPP play than Nestor Cortez when it's all said and done. Bryce Miller, probably not going to get there. He definitely has had some extremely strong starts, especially this one against Atlanta. Um, Kind of really opened their eyes a little bit this season. Taking on a Baltimore squad in Baltimore, I'm not really sure we need to go there. Sorry. I'm sure some people use them. I'm going to pass. I'm going to take Max Fried at home against San Diego. San Diego's offense has been struggling. K prop of just 4.5 with juice on the over, but he is a minus 218 favorite in this game. That is a pretty strong number. Game total of 8, but I certainly like Fried's matchup better than Bryce Miller. I might be more intrigued in Fried than I am in Nestor Cortez as well when it's all said and done. Tristan McKenzie, somebody that I want to dig into and look into his history against the Twins. Um, has started to throw it a little better. K numbers aren't skyrocketing by any means, um, but the Twins can strike out. He is a minus 122 favorite. K prop is just 4.5, juiced very strongly on the over. Um, like a couple years ago, McKenzie 4.5, I'd be smashing the over. Now I do worry about his elbow. Um, but there's enough upside that he's definitely going to make my pool. I'm just not using James Paxton. I know he's coming off of a great start against San Diego. Kind of turned it around the last couple. I don't really have a desire to play that game. K prop of 5.5, juice on the under. He's a minus 205 favorite. Game total of 9 in LA. It seems an aggressive total. So I'm just not really interested in Paxton off the top of my head. Uh, Maybe he ends up in my pool, but if I had to make a final determination, I would say he is not in my pool tonight. Kyle Harrison, somebody I'm definitely interested in. His K numbers disappeared against Colorado in his last start against them, but still was great against them. I expect him to kind of have stronger K numbers. Walks have been an issue the last couple, um, but he's had some strong starts in there. He's a minus 166 favorite with K prop of 5.5. I think he's a better option than Paxton, but not as good an option as this guy is. Christian Scott is really strong in his first two major league starts. Not able to pick up a win in either of them, but K's have been there. This Miami squad obviously not overly strong. K prop of 5.5, juice on the over. And the line in that game, he is a minus 120 favorite. Game total 7.5, juice slightly on the under even. I think Christian Scott is going to be a strong play this evening. Brian Bale, not sure I want to go there. Walks, K's are kind of all over the place. I know St. Louis is a team that we can kind of pick on with pitching. Just not really sure. Uh, he is a minus 115 favorite in this game. K prop of just 4.5 with juice on the under. That just doesn't feel exciting to me. John Means, certainly an option because we know that Seattle can strike out a lot. And he did throw a no hitter against Seattle a couple seasons ago. Maybe he kind of enjoys facing Seattle, but uh, certainly an option because there is that K upside, like I mentioned. I'm just not overly excited about jamming him in. And I don't see a K prop for him right now, which tells me that he might not even actually start this game. Because the sportsbook doesn't have a starter listed for Baltimore, so kind of have to pay attention there. I think he's fine as an option, but he's certainly somebody that I could see myself removing from my pool as the day goes on. Excuse me. Uh, Jesus Luzardo, guy that's had some rough starts this year, but he's taken on a Met squad that I think can be gotten by him. Like I mentioned, this game has a game total of 7.5 with juice on the under. Zardo is a slight home underdog. K prop of 5.5, juice on the over. I think I like Luzardo quite a bit as a bounce back candidate in his start tonight. Uh, we haven't really seen an elite performance from him yet this year, uh, and I certainly believe that that could come this evening. Bassett against Tampa Bay. I have been picking on Tampa Bay with pitching. Kind of slowed down on that a little bit. They kind of opened some things up. Working on 8 days rest, which I think is probably a good thing. This price point is pretty low for some upside. K prop of 5.5, juice on the under. He is a minus 180 favorite. Um, I'm interested in him just because I think he's better than what his price point is. So um, I think I like Lizardo a little more for upside wise, but I'm certainly interested in Bassett. So we go down. Hunter Brown has turned things around in the last couple outings. I think let's see, it is a pick 'em, but I thought his K prop was decent when I first looked. 5.5 juices on the under, but I'm not sure I can get to Hunter Brown. Um, but he's somebody I want to kind of pay close attention to as the day goes on, just because I kind of believe in him more long term. I certainly think that he is much better than he has shown early on in the season. But there we have it. There's kind of the first look. There's not really anybody down here that interests me at first look. Maybe as the day goes on, but I doubt. So that's kind of where we're going to be pitcher pool wise. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, uh, optimizer, Discord, etc., I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.